So, how do we know that Jesus was fully human? For the most part, this is so painfully obvious that almost no one in church history has bothered to question it, and with good reason. There have been a few in the very early church that proclaimed that he was God, but that his human form was just a phantom form, but they're few and far between. So, very, very quickly, how do we know he was fully human? Well, he had a human birth and a natural human childhood or growth. So he grew in knowledge and wisdom and stature and favor with God and man, says Luke 2:52. Everyone recognized him initially as being a normal child and later as being a normal man. There was nobody struggling with, is he a human being? That seemed obvious. They thought he might be a prophet, and when it was suggested that maybe he was God in human form, that was completely rejected by the Jewish leaders. So there was nothing unusual about his humanness. Another factor is the Bible mentions that he had a body, that he had a soul, that he had a spirit, the classical biblical language for the various building blocks of human nature. Jesus called himself a man on some occasions and loved to refer to himself as the Son of Man, which is a title that, amongst other things, points to his humanity. We know that he experienced things like hunger and thirst, and when he had been traveling or working for a long time, he also grew weary, needed to sleep, all typical indicators of his humanity. On the eve of his crucifixion, we have this amazing glimpse of him in the Garden of Gethsemane, where we see that he is afraid of the ordeal of the cross that is pending, saying, Lord, if you could take this cup from me, please do. Why? Because he knew the suffering that was coming was going to be painful to him because he was truly human. And of course, like every other human being, he had a normal human death. Not normal in terms of the way he was killed, but that when he died, his spirit left his body. So no one really doubts that Jesus was fully human. There is, of course, one caveat to his humanity, and that is, although he was like us in every way, there's one exception. He was sinless. So we were all born in the image of Adam. Jesus was born of a virgin, and because of that, the scripture says he was called the Holy One. He had no sinful nature, and he never sinned in practice as well. Are there any doubts about him being human? No, not really. No one really questions that Jesus was a real man. The real question is, how does his humanity and his deity fit together in one person? And that's what we're going to talk about next.